Welcome to the Unfolding Podcast, a space where soul, synchronicity, and self-discovery meet. Together, we explore the cycles, lessons, and magic that shape our human experience. Breathe, soften, and open your heart as we journey into the wisdom waiting to unfold. Hello, fam. It's Luna here and Solera, and welcome back to another episode of the Unfolding Podcast. We're so happy to be with you guys. I feel like it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute because we had the holidays and all that stuff, but we did have a couple of shorter videos. Well, they're not short, but solo videos that we recorded for you guys to stay in touch with us over the break. So I hope you guys got a chance to view those videos. Okay. But today we're getting into a talk about awakening, but we're not quite reaching that subject yet. We're just talking about some of the things that we may need to realize that we're missing in our lives as we are on this awakening journey. And we, even though we have grown a lot and we are leaders in some right, we are also still students for life. And we want you guys to know that we are always unfolding along with you the mysteries and the game of life and all those kinds of things. But I wanted to share a short story, and we're going to go kind of off of that train and see where it takes us today. I know you guys have heard about, at this point, the venerable monks that have been walking, I don't even know how many miles at this point, but they've been walking since Texas, since October. Guys, I think they're on day 83, 84 now. And they just came through my state and they're still in my state. And so I had an intention to see them, but I kind of forgot the dates they would be there. And it just so aligned. And I'll be honest, the one evening that Solera and I had planned to do our episode recording, we both just weren't feeling it in our souls that evening. So we both did our own thing. And we live in a separate states. And so I was able to go down to a certain recreation center where the monks were scheduled to be in my state. I had no expectations, but I did have some very difficult and trying situations while we were there seeing the monks walk by. I know there was excitement in the air. And so the encouraging part was seeing humanity, all different races, all different religions, and people of different backgrounds gathering for one goal: to see, to feel, to experience peace, whatever that means, right? Unfortunately, the crowds got a little too excited and it became a little bit more of a social media frenzy, but I was able to find the positive in it by remaining calm and mindful. And I want to share that the lead monk, Venerable Bhikkhu, he went into a subject, we'll talk more about it later, but he really talked about technology, the Western world, and how we have these addictions to technology and to treating our phones and our devices as if they are our lovers. They are our gods, right? And not really living in the real world and not really being of great use to each other or humanity. And he gave us a big challenge. And while he was challenging us to put our phones down, a lot of people still have their phones up to catch the moment. And that's what got me. They were missing the moment of presence, right? And so I was looking from a scope of trying not to judge, but just noticing and observing the hunger for peace, but still not knowing how to even receive what this gift was in the moment. All that being said, I was somehow able to give the lead monk a beautiful stone I had been keeping for years from a dear friend of mine who lost her life to mental health battles. And the stone on it said peace. And he took it, he smiled, we bowed to one another and had a brief moment. And then my husband got me this awesome bracelet. And in Buddhist culture, these bracelets, different colors have different meanings. And this gold and white one means success and good fortune. So that was what was picked for me, was pretty special. But all that being said, I want to talk a little bit about what is peace? How do we cultivate maybe a peace practice? How do we cultivate peace, Solera and I? And what does that look like for us as we are on this awakening journey? How to maintain our peace and not match anyone else's energy, but maintain our energy while still being of good use to humanity in this new earth that we believe we're a part of. So, Solera, what do you think about the monks' walk? Even though you didn't get a chance to see them because they weren't passing through your state, they're on their way to DC. What was your thoughts when I shared the story with you, and what comes to you when you think about the word peace, and how have you started to cultivate it in your life over the past few years?
Couple of things come up, and I'm hoping that at some point you can share some of your stories while you were there because
Yes,
it
I
was
will be.
interesting. And
Hmm.
yeah, as you were sharing your experience there, and I don't want to go into your story, but what came to me is that so many people are seeking peace, hope, not really knowing where to find it, right? Maybe it's at church, maybe it's going to see the monks, maybe something, some magical fairy dust will rub off on you,
Right.
whatever it is. So as Luna and I were talking, I said, it's so evident that people are seeking something, big. They want that peace, that harmony,
Hmm.
that feeling of hope, because people are struggling, whether we talk about it or not enough. We don't
That's
talk about
right.
it enough, right? Especially in work environments. I mean, people just keep acting like it's just another day. It's not. There's a lot going
Hmm.
on. There's always a lot going on. But right now, there's a lot of spiritual going on. A lot of people looking for answers. And so Luna and I were talking, and we both, agreed that either you're looking for answers outside of you, right? Like we said, or you're distracted by what's really happening in the world, not by the news,
Hmm.
because we're on our phones, right?
Hmm.
And listen, I'm on the phone, Luna's on her phone,
Yeah.
obviously, we're
Yeah.
doing podcasts and Instagram and those things. There's times that you are going to be on the phone, and that's fine, but to not be present because we're so glued to this phone or computer or whatever it is,
Hmm.
you're missing out on reality, right? That's like the first things that come up to me. We're missing out on what's really happening because we're here instead of here,
That's right.
and we're trying to find answers out there when they're here. Like,
Yes.
the answers are here. We say that so many times, guys. We're not ever going to be ready to stop talking about it because it's the truth,
That's
right? But
right.
that's more or less what came up for me when you shared your story. So I don't know if you want to feed on that.
No, that's great. And so, yes, guys, not that I'm a peace guru, not that Solera is, we're learning so much about the lived experiences and how to become alchemists through them, how to purpose pain into beauty, how to cultivate peace within our lives, right? And I
Mhm.
think, like we said, peace is not out there. Peace is a choice. And that's what I'm learning. Peace is a choice. And so I will share a little bit more as we go through the podcast. I don't want to take up all the time, but I want to share tidbits and kind of go back and forth. And so I'm going to share a part of my frustration that happened in the crowds. And so there was a lot of shoving, there was a lot of pushing in the crowds, and everybody was trying to get a glimpse of something, but nobody could really see anything. And the lead monk was saying, when I give out these bracelets, when I give these peace talks, I hope you're listening. I hope these many months of walking barefoot in the cold, right? Camping out in tents. I don't know if you know the life of monks, but they can't ask for anything. They can only receive what they're given. They finish eating at 12 p.m. That's it. So imagine that kind of a strict, disciplined lifestyle, but it's for sacrifice, right? It's for devotion. And they're coming through just to spread peace, because I feel in my heart that they kind of feel bad for us over here in America. We need peace. We're a hot mess.
Major.
You got to take the mask off. There's no more white picket fence. Nobody's higher than the other. It's just a hot mess. And everybody's feeling the pain that the world is going through. And they are walking for peace all the way to Washington, D.C. And he said, I hope this walk is not in vain, right? I hope these steps are not in vain, because when I leave here tonight, you will be tested for peace. I didn't even leave the place and I was tested for
Mm-hmm.
peace. And there's another side of me that's not so mindful all the time. And I really wanted to go off, on a few people. And I began to breathe because his talk was impacting me. So I decided to go against the crowd as they were holding their phones up. I squatted down towards the grass so I could hear his message, his peace talk. And I zoned in. I could hear him saying, all you have to do to start your peace practice is take 1 minute from each hour of your workday. 1 minute to breathe in, to breathe out. Not force the breath, just witness it, right? And he was like, even if you can take 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes before bed, we know you have this time. How do we know we have this time? Because we're scrolling, we're binge watching TV, doing all the things that we think bring us comfort. But in reality, they distract us. He brought up multitasking and how multitasking wasn't created for humans and how we're supposed to be soul tasked humans. So we're trying to do 10,000 things at one time. What does that tell us? Peace has to be cultivated within. So I felt challenged in that moment. And I was like, you know what? Instead of me um, complaining and, coming off like I'm better than anyone else, which I'm not, even though I'm a mindfulness teacher in some ways, I was being tested. And I just kind of quieted the monkey chatter in my brain, went within, and I did feel peace. It was like I was in that moment on my own. And I noticed as I folded my hands that as they started chanting, and I said they're chanting out loud, the people beside me, I felt them looking at me, even though my eyes were closed, and then the energy kind of shifted. So I learned in that moment that rather than saying anything, people are watching. And so that peace rubs off. Just the way when the monks walk through, people keep saying they can't explain why they get emotional. They just see them walking with a purpose and intention, with clarity. And as they come closer, you feel the tears. When I left that place, I felt very emotional, and I've been emotional ever since then. I've been really feeling into my heart ever since then because the word of my year is devotion. And so I was like, wow, wow, this was a test for me. How much do I practice what I preach, right? So for me, I know peace is within and it has to be cultivated. I know that it's a choice. And I know that even amongst chaos, people talking, gossip, people shoving phones in people's faces and making this moment that was supposed to be sacred a social media event, it challenged me to go within and practice exactly what he was saying in the moment. And I do believe some of us that were there will be changed by this moment. And I shared it with Solera. And so what's coming up for you is I'm talking about the moment I had, right? Like the chaos. Like how can we apply that to real life? I feel like I know you're going to have some answers, Solera. How can
Yeah.
we apply that to
Yeah,
real
I'm
life
listening
chaos?
to you. I'm listening to
Help
you.
our
It's funny
listeners out.
because
Mm-hmm.
the tips that they're sharing, that you're sharing with us, are so simple,
So
right?
simple.
And and that little act makes such a difference. So two things came up for me while you were talking. Multitasking, which everyone does.
Yeah.
I used to be I was a rock star at multitasking, but I was
Mm.
never here, present, aware of what was happening, just constantly like almost reacting to everything, and keeping things in order. And it was like I was always living for the next task, right? And something I've learned
Mm.
recently is like to just focus on that one thing and give it my all. Not a little bit, right? Like really give it my full focus. And then when I'm done with that thing, instead of jumping into the next, I like to sit and reflect on it. Like
Mm-hmm.
sit and think, what I just did. Maybe it's an accomplishment, maybe it's a problem I have to figure out, whatever it is. Like I have to have those minutes. Like Luna said, taking that 1 minute. I need a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
I need like a good
that part.
at least 10 minutes, like go grab some tea, tune out of what just happened, reflect, reshift my energy, and come back to the next thing
Mm-hmm.
and give my full attention, full, you know?
100%.
Or I could just spend my whole day multitasking, giving little bits and pieces here and there. How efficient or functional is that? versus me having
Mm.
those breaks and giving my full energy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, yes,
talk
yes,
about the
yes.
8 hour work day, right? People are just expected to sit there all day. I work. I work really hard, but I also allow myself those in between breaks because if I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I can't give it my all. Like, guys, I tell you, I get to the point sometimes where I'm like, I have to walk away. I have to, there's too much going on. It's too much like stimulation. There's emails, there's
yes.
chats, there's phone calls, and it's just like, it gets overwhelming, you know? So you take a couple minutes, you come back refreshed. So that was one thing you said, right?
So good. Yeah.
The multitasking,
Mm-hmm.
also taking time, which intertwine. You can get all those things done, but not have to do it simultaneously at the
Yeah.
same exact moment. It's so stressful, and I know that in society we're used to that, you know, because that's the norm, and people always, you know, going for the next goal and go hard. And yeah, you can get all the goals done, but you don't have to go hard, you know, on
Right.
yourself, right?
Right.
So that's kind of what came up for
Ooh.
me.
I'm glad you said that. I don't want anyone to think that we don't believe in goal setting, but I will say this. Hustle culture is dying. Hustle culture is on the way out.
Yep.
People are looking for ways to get back to what my husband and I were talking about earlier. We call it analog, the analog life. And us millennials know what that means because we grew up with phones that had the wires attached, you know, home phones. And I miss it. I never thought I would say that, but I miss it. We talk all the time about in our next home, we're getting clocks on the wall so we can read the time without looking on our phone. We're going to like get a house phone, right? Flip phones could be a thing, burner phones. And so what I'm throwing out here is tips because I think a lot of you might need some tangible tips. I think those of you watching us feel what we're talking about. You feel the overstimulation that Solera talks about, but then there's the how, right? So besides taking those breaths and those little pauses, which are great because we do it all the time, even before this episode, we were kind of running around and we both were like, let's woosah and decompress before we
Yeah.
even get on. Because what schedule are we on? Yes, we're on our own schedule, but while honoring our time, we still need to honor our body and our minds and our souls. So we only get on this podcast when we feel 100% ready to do so. Um, that being said, I really want to give you guys a few tips that I've personally been working on. I'm not perfect at this, so please just hear me with grace and compassion, but maybe something will stick for you. Throughout my workday, I own my own business and I'm a contractor. And I feel that sometimes my life is very demanding. My phone is always ringing. I have a million group chats. I have emails, deadlines, and things like that. Because when you run a business, you have to be more strict on yourself, right? Because you have to treat it like a regular 9 to 5 job, or else you'll get lazy and you won't have clients. That being said, I try to stay mindful and active of that. But I've started taking miniature mini breaks, right? Mini breaks throughout the day. Walk outside for a moment, sit on my porch. You can ask Solera because I'll text her in those mini breaks sometimes, or I'll just be like taking a moment. And yeah, sipping the tea, staying hydrated, those are great. But literal, tangible things that I do with my phone. And I know some of you are going to be like, whoa, you don't know you have a phone addiction until I tell you these steps that I'm taking. And some of you are going to feel
Mhm.
itchy when I start saying it's like an addiction. But at night, except for a few select people that I felt led to respond to, on my phone, I have literally do not disturb. And I have about 5 people that I'll actually respond to. 3 of them live in this house. And then there's a few other people, right? Including Solera. But still, I respect myself above all of that. And so at night, if I want to read a book, if I want to meditate or do something mindful, I know I'm going to get distracted. And I want to binge watch TV. And so the first thing I'll do is to put my phone face down. I still hear the buzzes. If that doesn't work, I'll put it in my nightstand drawer right next to me. Underwear drawer, guys, whatever. Okay, it's fine. But it goes in there because if I visually feel the buzzing, I still want to look. So you guys
Mhm.
can do this. It's going to take some practice and dedication, but there's this like beautiful thing that happens. You realize the addiction, but you also realize what am I going to miss for this hour that I'm giving myself? Because the one thing you can't get back is time. You cannot get back time. At the end of this life, all you have are the ones that love you, the ones you love, and your time. Time is money. Your time is like money. Your time is currency, and your energy is currency. So I put my
Right.
phone in the drawer. That's one step. I'll decide how much shows I want to watch with my husband or by myself because I really want to read, right? Those are my goals, my intentions. And then I'll meditate a little bit before I go to bed. We put on this YouTube channel with the same music playing. It's like white noise and like calm music with a black screen so we can actually go to bed because we used to go to bed to a
For
TV
sleeping.
show and it was really bad. We used to hear
Yeah.
laughing in the background and we weren't really sleeping, getting that REM sleep, right? So I'm giving you guys a
Yeah,
few
it's
tips that we already
distracting.
started to do, but it's hard in the beginning. Taking the phone to the bathroom. Why are we doing it? Right? And so you have to
Mm.
ask yourself this question. I know it made me feel kind of dumb when I was doing it. I was like, whoa, why am I taking my phone to the toilet?
Yeah.
And then we might tell our kids we don't have time for this or people we don't have time for that. You have time for what you create time for. So the message is
Yeah.
to cultivate a peace practice. There are some things that you may have to give up, but you're going to gain so much more time for yourself, time for things you enjoy, time to rest your nervous system and not be overstimulated. Many of us are scared to be with ourselves, and that's a reason why we've turned to these devices. Okay, guys,
You
we're not
just
trying
hit
to
that.
preach at you. We're just trying to give you some tips here. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Solera. Talk, girl.
You just hit it on the nail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you say scared of being with yourself? It's very hard for people to do that.
I get it.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it too, because I did it. I
Yeah.
didn't even know who the heck I really was until a couple years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because, I was just going with emotions. We all know this, like everyone knows. And like Luna said, tips are helpful. I think sometimes I get so used to my new way of being
Right.
since awakening, right? Because we talked about creating new
Mm,
habits,
this
and
is good.
all those things. I think I get so used to that way that I don't realize the little ways I've changed so much and the
Mm-hmm.
little ways that everyone can change, right? And so this is making me think of a story where I'm with my mom in the car and her
Please.
family.
Yeah, tell it
This is like,
if you can.
you know, yeah, it was like a couple of months ago. I went to visit family and we're in the car. First of all, I took over the energy of the car because I was in high vibes. I wanted the whole family to feel high vibes, and they
Mm-hmm.
did. And we were playing Michael Jackson, 80s music, whatever. Everyone's dancing. We played booty music, South Florida, we know about booty music, all kinds of stuff. And I look over at my mom many times, and she's like this. Okay. I went to visit her to be with her,
Mm,
and she's on her phone. So she's missing out on a moment with family because she's distracted on her phone. Sorry, mom,
right.
I love you.
She
Um,
knows. We love you, Mama.
she knows, she knows, and I'm sitting there looking at her and I'm just like, she's not here. She's there. I came here to be
Mm-hmm.
with her. She's there. So giving you an example, right? And I don't, I guess it's like, I don't realize how much people are like glued and distracted until I go out in the world and I see it. And it's just like,
Yeah.
man. So what I did to my mom, she loves me. I took her phone away and I said, I'm here. I'm here. I'm visiting you. Be present with us. And you could tell she really struggled at first. Like she didn't know where to
Mm,
look, what to do with her mannerisms. It was
yeah.
kind of like, she was like, what do you want me to do? Just sit here? And it was like, you're missing the point. You know what I mean? Um, anyways, I took it for the rest of the short trip we had to go see a soccer game. And I gave it back to her when we got there. Guess what she did as soon as we got there? Missing another moment.
Not
Missing
you
the
being a
moment.
patrol to Mamacita.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm trying to help my mom learn things
Yeah.
I'm learning, but it's up to
Yeah.
her. It's up to you, everyone, right? To learn or not. It's up to you. But just sharing an example of a small way where my mom was missing two opportunities to be with her family when she told me, I really need you to come see me. I need my
Right.
family, and I'm there, and you're not there. But they don't realize it.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to create awareness for her. What she does with it from there
Hmm.
is up to her.
It's her choice. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, awareness and missing out. You're bringing up a lot. And I hope people I know we seem like we're all over the place, but this is about cultivating a peace practice, noticing, because if you're awakening, you're aware. You know there's a problem. You know that you go to your phone for everything, but you don't know how to stop it. And sometimes there's shame around the awareness. We're not saying any of this to shame anybody. Like, I'm not perfect.
Don't even
I
shame yourself. Yeah.
know because I sometimes am like, even my husband will be like, even for business, babe, you can take a day and respond. And I'm like, I know, but I might miss this and that. And no, what's meant for you will always be right on time and aligned. But your time is valuable. And sometimes even my kids call me out on it. And that's when I try to like, they're like, first of all, mom, you can't multitask. So please stop. Stop trying. They'll be asking me a question and I'll be in mom mode. I have teens and I'll be like in mom mode, in business mode, doing something and I'm answering them. And I'm realizing, oh my God, that's rude. Like these kids are in my stomach. My life was kind of
Mm-mm.
built around them. And now when I have this time, which may not be given back to me because they may go off to college or do their own things, whatever, I'm taking it and I'm looking at the screen. So I'm trying to be more mindful to place it down and be like, yeah, what's up, baby girl? What do you need? What do you need, son? And take
Mm-hmm.
that moment because I'm teaching them
Priorities,
eye
right?
contact. Right. What they see, they'll still do.
Yeah.
What they see, they'll still do. And our generation, our kids, I feel bad for them. A lot of them want to go back to our days. I know it sounds funny, like we're like old, but a lot of them want to go back to the 90s and 2000s because it kind of was a simpler time. Was a
Mm-hmm.
time of passing notes in school, having pen pals, and walking in the neighborhood till dark, your mom not worrying about you that much, coming back when it was dinner time. And
Oh
now,
yeah.
look at all the fear that social media and the phones have created because we're afraid to even be
Mm-hmm.
ourselves because we might get recorded and then it might get at leaked. So it's like there's no sense of
Yeah.
privacy living your life in real time. Everything becomes a video moment. What we're saying is nothing's wrong with technology. You know, chat GBT, all those things are there to help us when we need it. But what happened to pen to paper, journaling, not everything having to be in the phone? Because
Mm-hmm.
our intention might be just write some notes in that phone. The next thing we know, we open up our notes and then comes the bings, notifications.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens that draws us in. So what we need to do is create intention around time blocks. How much time are we going to give
Mm-hmm.
our phone? Are we going to put time limits on our phone for Instagram? Are we going to put the phone in the drawer? Are we going to decide to create a new ritual and walk after work first or after dinner before sitting down to that TV show? It's little things like that that we're talking about to
It is
start
so much.
the peace practice, right?
Yeah, you're saying a lot that's coming up for me because I don't want anyone to think like there's something wrong with being on the phone because there's not. Again, there are productive things
Right.
that you're going to do on there, staying connected with people. It's just a matter of don't miss out on your life because you're on the phone.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
the people around you, like Luna said. And then you said something about else about technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you said the 80s and 90s, and sometimes we miss those days because they were simpler, and they were. And I think there's a lot of differences between now and then.
So
But one of them is
much.
there's so much information out, like it's
Too much
overwhelming, right?
information.
Right. But people need to practice discernment, right? It's very important, guys. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much information out there. You can get caught up believing in everything. And now it's hard because we talked about this. So now there's AI. So again, listening to yourself, the information's good. How do we connect with our audience, through technology, through all this? But we're trying to share messages that empower
Yeah.
and help you rather than instilling fear. That's a difference. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Choose very carefully what you feed your mind, your soul, your body, right? Like, I never really thought about that before, but
Mm-hmm.
if I'm watching violence all day,
Mm.
murder shows, the news, whatever, people don't think it affects them, but it really does. Go on
Dateline.
a little yeah, go on a little withdrawal of this for a week and see how
Mm-hmm.
things start changing in your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts and your dreams and how you feel.
It's
Like,
true.
just how we want to eat well, choose very carefully the information we want to receive. It's great that we have it. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you need to watch it all. You know what I
Oh, it's
mean?
so good. It's like digesting. You can digest food and digest the wrong food and digest the wrong news and the
Yeah.
wrong
Yeah.
information. Is it good to be aware of what's happening? Yes, because it affects everybody. Is it good to be swallowed whole by it? No.
Right.
No. That's where the problem creeps in,
Yeah,
right?
and that's something that Luna and I talked about, okay, the
Yeah.
other day.
Being
And I'm gonna
grounded.
admit,
Please go there.
guys,
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit to, to you all is that I like completely cut myself from the news.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't want it
I did for a while too.
because it
Mm-hmm.
never brings up good feelings. And Luna mentioned, she understands obviously she limits herself, but she says, also maybe just at least have a little
Mm-hmm.
dose of what's going on just so that you're aware, especially because we're talking to other people, and that makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I need to work through,
Right.
right? Like Luna and I have talked about, we're still healing too. We're just
Yeah.
further along in the unfolding of our
That's
awakenings,
right.
and here to share with all of you that are just starting, or maybe you're in the same place, you just want a community where we can talk about it, whatever it might mean. um but that's something I need to work through, because I want to be aware, but
But not swallowed whole. You don't
there's
want to
so
be.
many lies in there,
Yes.
and yeah, fear, and it's like I don't want that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I got to
Mm-hmm.
work on myself internally to be okay with listening to it, but not absorbing
Absorbing
it.
it.
Yeah, and
Absorbing
not
it.
necessarily
Mm-hmm.
believing it,
Yeah.
but just okay, that's there.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe just reflect on it,
Yes.
about what's coming up, for humanity, like we were talking
Exactly.
about with the monks, what's coming up from humanity. We're looking for peace, and
Yes.
they're going to follow these people, and all they're doing is walking,
All they're
and
doing
all
is
they're doing is
walking.
walking to
That's
share
all they're
peace.
doing is walking to share peace.
Yeah.
You're saying some great things because we did talk about this the other day, and I admit to, and I'm going to say it's a good thing. It's a good thing that Solera and I cut off almost everything that to us was swallowing us whole. To us was a big distraction.
Mhm.
So where the incorrect behavior came in was to live up in the clouds per se, right? To not almost have any groundedness, and so you need both to be able to
Mhm.
communicate. And we believe that we are part of a collective of new earth leaders, and you guys are too, because you're tuning into this podcast. Otherwise, you wouldn't be
Mhm.
aligned or drawn in. New earth leader meaning that, yes, you're in this earth, but you're not living in the so called matrix. You are choosing to rise above and create your heaven on earth and help others to get back to eating the right foods. Maybe you're a medicine woman. Maybe you're a person that's going to talk to people. Maybe you're a person that's going to express yourself through art to heal humanity because we need healing, right?
Mhm.
But in that, while we fast away from these things, we take fasts and we really don't look at anything, I'm aware by, okay, I'll look at that one thing, that one little news clip, okay, because it's important to know. Okay, a flood happened there, this happened there, and I'm sending peace and I'm aware of it. But like I said, we're not absorbing ourselves deep into everything because if we do, we have no good use to even you guys. We wouldn't be able to come on
Because you
this
have to protect
podcast.
your energy.
Yes. You have to
Yeah,
protect your
your
energy.
energy is
Your
everything.
energy
Yeah.
is currency.
And that's why I do it, right, Luna? Like what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
I I always, I don't want to say always because it's not always,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm human.
Right.
But what I like to do is show up in my best energy around people because I see how infectious it is. Like
Yeah.
you walk in and you bring this energy and everyone's smiling, and they're
Yeah.
just so, they're feeling your energy, and then their energy goes up, and then the whole room's
I've
energy
seen it
goes, and
happen.
it's just like contagious. So that's why I'm very protective about who I spend time with, what I watch, what I eat, like
Same.
how much I eat. I
Mm-hmm.
don't do 3 meals a day.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I try to limit snacks. I try to stick to, lately my thing is fish and vegetables
Yeah.
because it makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's again what you feed yourself, right? And I don't know why this is coming up for me, and I don't. Oh, we were talking about awareness.
Yeah. Go with it.
So I kind of want to tap into a little bit about my
Mm-hmm.
spiritual awakening experience.
Please do.
And I'll tell you guys, it's very hard to like go back to how it began and
Mm-hmm.
where I am and where it's still unfolding, right? But Luna mentioned earlier something about awareness, right? You can't fix what you don't know is broken, right?
That's so good.
Awareness,
Ooh,
right?
tweet that.
That just came to
Can
me.
we pause?
Yeah,
Say it
yeah.
again. You can't fix.
You can't fix where you don't know is broken.
That's good.
So if you're not aware, there's nothing to fix. If you're distracted, you don't know what the problem is. You understand? So everyone's walking around here, watching what everyone's doing, what the celebrities are doing, what the latest trend is, what the latest, I don't know, is it 6776, whatever nonsense. So distracted. Yeah, like that's how out of tune I am with that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but my daughter is smiling at me right now because she could probably tell me what it means, and I don't want to know. My point is distraction, and that's exactly what they want, guys. That's what they want, for you to be
Yes.
distracted. And so it takes you to really analyze the situation, and that's how my spiritual awakening started, becoming aware. Okay, when I was looking at my relationship, where my life was, and I think I touched on this, is, hey, I'm doing pretty freaking good, per what I was told, how I was raised,
Exactly.
how society's functioning. And I didn't feel good. I felt like something was missing for many years. This intertwined with my depression and situational things, whatever. So I started paying more attention to like who I'm spending time with and the things they're talking about and how it makes me feel. And you know what I mean? And really reflecting outside, favorite place, right? Outside, why am I feeling this way? What can I do to like fill this void? Do I get another job? Do I get another house? Oh, I did that. I bought another house, guys. I bought the car. I bought a whole bunch of things, just trying to fill that void. But guess what? Nothing did it. Not things, not more money, not a better house. And so then I was back to feeling in low vibrational state again, because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing what, nice car, nice house, all that stuff. I'm doing it and I'm not fulfilled. But it was my soul telling me, dig deeper. Like, yeah, you're doing good on the outside, but how are you feeling on the inside? Pretty damn bad, because I was missing something and I didn't know what it was. Well, the something was me, my soul, my connection to
So
God, to
good.
the universe. You know what I mean?
So good.
And so, yeah, but I didn't know what I was looking for, guys, because again, I wasn't religious. I didn't know. I just was seeking answers. And I'll tell you guys something really cool. A lot of people who are starting to awaken, who are awakened, are very, very aware with the universe communicates to us in different
Yeah.
ways. One of them is angel numbers, right? Through animals, we talked about that. Through songs, through people. People just show up in your life and say something, and you're like, I needed to know that.
Yeah. Out of
Somehow the
nowhere.
universe carries the messages that way. So I didn't know anything about any of that. But I would see the repeated numbers, and I think I've mentioned this before.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm
That's when it
wrong.
started.
But yeah, I would see.
Yep.
So that created more awareness. It was
Curiosity
like,
too.
now I'm looking. Yeah, now I'm looking. And then it's the questions. It's like, do I like where my life is going? Like, do I like who I am? Do I know who I am? Really? Or, because for me, I was being that person for everyone but me,
Wow.
mom, wife, daughter, whatever. But I always put myself last, and we've talked about that too.
Yeah.
But I was just going with the flow of what I knew. So awakening is tapping into your higher consciousness,
That's
into your
right.
higher self, to have a greater awareness than what's visible or what people see or know or have been told.
Right.
And people awaken in different ways, right? Traumatic events could
Yep.
be, right?
Yep.
From pain and suffering, like so many different things. For me, it was like a combination of things. It was living most of my life not feeling fulfilled, never really feeling like anyone else, always feeling like there was something more within me, but I didn't know what it was, how to achieve it, where to go, who to talk to. So I went through spiritual awakening alone, really, primarily. Some people have had mentors, some
Most
people
of
have
us
had friends.
do.
Yeah, a lot of people go through, and on top of it, they don't feel comfortable talking about it with people that are closest to them, because in the eyes of the people close to you, you're losing your mind because you're no longer the identity that they identify with, you know?
Ooh.
Yeah. And that part
Ooh.
for them and my family, they've adjusted, and let me tell you something, they've learned to respect where I'm at, but still you could tell it affects them because they lost a version of me they knew.
Mhm.
Understand? They never
Mhm.
lost me. Actually, if they shifted their perspective, they found the real me,
Oh, it's
the true
so
me.
you're dropping gems right now.
I know this is just coming out right now, girl, but you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like this is the true me. So in my mind, I'm like, why can't you just be happy for me and love this part of me? And in their hearts, whether they find the words or not, I think what they feel is, and a friend said this to me the other day, I feel like I lost you to spirituality.
Mm.
Oof, how about
Mm.
that?
Mm.
And I was reflecting on this and I'm like, essentially, you're saying you lost me to me
Right.
because we're
Right.
walking spirits. Tell
Right.
me, like, where's your mind going? Because, yeah, there.
I'm just, I have to process these things, but you're dropping some gems. And I'm trying to go back to what caught me just now that you just said. And I think it's something along the lines of people, well intended people, people that love you,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
losing the version of you that they thought was you. Now we can't fully blame those people. Why? Because we introduced those versions of ourselves to people in order to protect
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. We didn't know better. And I told Grace, I'm going to say Grace because, that's her name too. Sometimes I fumble on that. But I told Solera that one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou, a wonderful poet, rest in peace, rest in power, rather, is one of her most powerful quotes is talking about, you know, how do you leave people, how do people feel when they leave your presence? That's number one. So people remember what you said, but not how you made them feel. And the other one, it's not coming to me right now, but it's along the words of like being your true self, not losing yourself. Because what happens is trauma bonding. We talked about this before in another episode. But whether our family that loves us, other people love us, realize or not, we gave them a version that we thought we had to give them. But people that love you, and I do believe our families love us, and as we grow,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're going to accept certain parts. And if they don't, that's okay. But as you grow, the people in your life that love you and you love them, you're supposed to water them like a plant, and they're supposed to water you and encourage
Mm-hmm.
you, right? Another
Mm-hmm.
quote from Maya Angelou is when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And that
Mm-hmm.
will save somebody's life right now. That will save somebody from possibly doing what we did, trauma bond, or becoming the person that
Mm-hmm.
creates a trauma bond,
Yeah,
right?
or trying to fix
We're
someone
trying to
else to
fix
become
someone
the
else.
version that you
Right.
like them to be. I want to talk about something real quick before
Yeah.
we miss the boat, because
Go
you
ahead.
mentioned
Hmm.
something about our families love us, and we gave them a different version.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're very clear on something.
Hmm.
It's not your job to live to other people's expectations,
Right.
okay?
Hmm.
It's your job to explore your soul, who you are, and be just that. Your family may or may not like it. Some will stick, some may not. At the end of the day, you owe this to yourself
You
to go
do.
down this road. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was going to say about my spiritual awakening, guys, but some things are coming
Yes.
based on our
Yes.
bouncing back and forth. What did I want to say? My spiritual awakening started in 2018,
Hmm.
and I'm going to call it going back to sleep. I went back to sleep for
Hmm.
my family,
Hmm.
for my husband at the time, ex-husband, for my kids, to not disrupt everyone's peace, to not
Hmm.
disrupt the household,
Hmm.
because at that time I knew I needed to get a divorce. I knew for many years I wasn't fulfilled in that way. He was my best friend, cared about him, loved him, but I knew like our course had run. We'd married very young, but I was
Mhm.
still holding on to the family dynamic.
Mhm.
So in 2018, I explained to my ex-spouse at the time that I felt I needed a divorce and I need to discover what's happening because something was happening within me. I
Mm.
was feeling moments of alignment that I never experienced alignment
Mhm.
before. And I
Mhm.
started Googling, like, what does alignment mean? Alignment of your soul, like doing the things that feed your soul that make you feel good. And I never experienced that. And I wanted to know more about it
Mm.
and how to achieve it and what the angel numbers were. Why am I going through this? And my ex thought I was bipolar.
Right.
He was like, now you have like a split personality because you were her, now you're this, which is
Mhm.
understandable
Mhm.
to
I get
someone
it.
who's known you
Yeah.
for many years. Yeah.
Absolutely.
My whole family thought the same thing. His whole family thought the same thing. So imagine you're going through this life-changing moment that's
Mhm.
beautiful and you're tapping
Mhm.
into your soul and no one's supporting you because
You think you
in their
lost it,
eyes, you look crazy.
right?
Well, guess what? I'm so grateful in 2021 when this came back again, this awakening that came through a speech I was doing at my day job. It was like my soul became alive and it was like, I'm supposed to be talking. So in some way, I don't know what, but like I just lit
Yeah.
up, guys.
Mhm.
And people were blown away. Like, you're a natural born speaker. Where the heck did this come from? So it was like in that moment in 2021 when I did that speech,
I remember that. Yeah.
it was like I awakened in
Yes.
that moment,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So and then I shared with my ex-husband at the time what I was experiencing, trying to help him on his journey, but he didn't want to hear it. And most people won't want to hear it when you're going through it, guys, because not everyone's ready. And that's
That's
okay.
okay.
Don't force it.
Don't force it.
Yeah.
Don't force it.
Share it with the right people. They don't have to understand. If they listen, awesome for you. If you can find a support group, a
Mhm.
friend, someone who can understand, do that. But do not deny your soul's journey to make other people happy.
Comfortable.
It is not easy.
Right.
I went
Right.
through a divorce. I broke up my family home. Not only that, I distanced myself from my family, not my mom and dad as much, but everyone else for like a year to discover me without
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
key.
Mhm.
I didn't want to know the version I am around them or because of the beliefs instilled in me. I wanted
Yeah.
to know, who are you,
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And that's when I dove into books. That was my company.
Yes.
Books, the Four Agreements, Don Miguel
Yes. I
Ruiz,
remember you telling me
The
about
Power
this.
of Now,
Yes.
Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. And that was my company. It was my guide when I didn't know.
Yeah.
And those books really help the awakening process because they
Mhm.
talk about
Mhm.
consciousness
Mhm.
and beliefs and all these things. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely
Those are
check it
good
out.
books.
I'm going to stop there for a
Okay.
second.
So Lara and I
Go ahead,
talked
Mama.
about this. This is the beautiful thing. We reconnected around this time, guys. And like I said before in prior podcasts, without the knowledge that I was going through my own divorce, that I was going through my own awakening, right? That things were shifting in my life. So we came back together as close friends through not trauma bonding, but awakening, which is why I think we had to, because we admit that there are times when our conversations weren't as uplifting, because in that time we were still struggling, right? But we still knew that we could help each other to vibe higher on certain days. And so those are the kinds of friendships you're going to want to look for. Feeding friendships, friendships that support you with no agenda, people that pour into you and receive the evolved version of you. Now, not everyone's going to, like Solera said. I too walked alone on my journey. And I too still to this day seemingly kind of walk alone. A lot of people know me, but they don't really know me. They know of me, right? And that's kind of purposeful because I've realized that not everybody can go with me on this journey, as painful as that may be. And like Solera said, I'm not willing to sacrifice myself any longer for the comfort of others because at the end of the day, this is my life and this is my story. And it's a people that people called crazy. I wanted to touch on that. Those are the people you guys look up to right now. Oprah, crazy. Went from talk show host with short hair, 18,000 different diets, to having her own network and being one of the most respected people in this world. We can go down the road, Steve Jobs, all these different people. Crazy. There's no way you can create a network and,
Oh yeah.
laptops and all
Going
these
against the
things.
grain.
Google,
Yeah.
going against the grain. There's artists, there's rappers,
Yeah.
many people that were called crazy because you can't make money doing that. And every time you tell somebody that is awakening into their gift that they can't, the person that knows their soul calling or knows something's pulling them will keep going because that thing is pulling them. So, like Solera said, let me tell you something funny about Solera. Growing up in school, only I knew the funny, dancing, crazy, sometimes drinking with me, having fun, vibing in the car, Solera. And that she could really speak. And that she was eloquent. She was also a writer, as I'm a writer, as I'm a speaker, right? So we knew each other on a real soul level. These gifts are coming back around full circle now in our adulthood. That speech that she talked about at her job was an awakening moment. It brought her to life. I remember her
Right.
telling me about it, and I was so
I have
proud.
chills.
I was like, yes, girl, you opened your mouth, your throat chakra was beginning to unlock. And the same thing for me. We talk on here, and you guys are seeing this version of us, but believe me, the younger version of me stuttered. The younger version of me was not eloquent. I was quiet and shy. I lived my life through books. I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I made up stories in my head and played them out. I was always trying to write a screenplay in my head, always a creative, but not being able to express it, right? And when I was younger, I'd always see myself on a stage. And I'm saying this because there's
Mhm.
people listening to us that have the same visions. You've seen yourself on a stage somewhere. You see yourself with a microphone. You see yourself with a book. You don't know how to get there. You don't know what you're seeing and feeling. Follow your calling inside. Little tiny pockets, little inklings, okay? You're not going to write just a novel tomorrow, but if you start creating these peace practices, blocking the distractions, noticing with awareness
Mhm.
what's unbalanced, and not sacrificing your soul, ooh, it's coming out of me, for others, your gifts will begin to unlock. Nothing is wrong. You're not blocked. You're only blocked because of the company you're possibly keeping or your own self sabotage. That's hard to hear,
Mhm.
but I'm telling you this from lived experience that the biggest person sometimes blocking you from moving forward to do your own podcast, to write your own book, to sing that song, to create that business is you. Yes, people will doubt
Yeah.
you, but then you have your own self doubt because you yourself think that's crazy. But if you feel something inside that will not leave your soul, your gut, your true north compass right here in that solar plexus, that sacral chakra area right here in the belly, you feel that yes to something, just follow it. Even if it's not for monetary reasons, follow it for pure joy and see where it leads you. Because that small obedience, Solera talking at the company, me opening up my mouth and beginning to talk where I was at my job, or quitting my corporate job, starting a business, having to talk to people, being a guest on podcasts. I didn't see myself doing these things. Slowly and slowly, as I
Mhm.
began to speak life over myself and say, my words are clear. I don't stutter. I talk, I speak well. And when I walk into rooms, people want
Mhm.
to listen to me. And so you have to speak what you want to see and begin to embody it. And little by little, I stopped stuttering as much. I became grounded in what I wanted to say. It makes me laugh when Solera says I'm the grounded one because when I was younger, I'd just
Mhm.
be like stuttering, rushing ahead to get my words out because I didn't feel seen and
Same.
heard and understood. And I know that Solera can relate to
Mhm.
this, but I love my
Mhm.
family. But even then, there were so many dynamics that made me feel like I had to fight for the light, like a black sheep, right? Growing up with a father as a pastor, someone always speaking, someone always telling me what to do, someone telling me get on stage, sing with the choir, not me knowing what I wanted. What do I like? What lights me up and brings me joy?
Right.
So having to separate myself, just like Solera, on this solo journey for a while, I had to hibernate and really figure my shit out. That's when I
Right.
realized
Like face
who
yourself.
I am. Face myself, face the
Yeah.
shadows, the ugly parts, the
Yeah.
obstacles, all the things. Because all that stuff, guys, makes you who you are. All of it, the ugly and the good. There's no light without darkness. And we're here to
Mhm.
find those cracks of light until, boom, we're open, we're exploding, we're running, right? With that fire horse energy. Watch the video. The last video I did a solo video about fire horse energy starting in February, and we're still shedding right now in January. I actually want to go into that before
Right.
we wrap up the episode. I want to talk a little bit about what shedding means in this snake season we're wrapping up. So it might help you guys on your awakening journey. So we can all run together come February 17th because we don't want to leave anybody behind. We want to give you as much information that we know from our lived experiences, from our studies, from our self, education. We're self-taught. We're self-taught, right? We want to share with you guys so
Right.
that we can rise as a community together in a collective. And we're not just talking at you, we're unfolding together. So I'm going to
Right.
pause, take a breath, and let's start thinking about shedding what doesn't serve, whether it's what we were saying about our family not understanding where we are, or people's thoughts, or maybe it's a thought process that you have that needs to be reframed. What's coming up for you, Solera? Can we share one or two things personally about the snake season, what we're feeling right now, authentically with the audience, and help them understand simply where we feel we're headed with the fire horse energy?
Yeah. So Luna and I talked about we wanted to record an episode the other day and both of us just weren't feeling it. And what I explained to her was something's coming up for me and I'm not exactly sure what it is. All I know is I had a shift in
Mm-hmm.
energy and I had a situation, not a situation, but like, a person I met that brought up something for me, a feeling that
Mm-hmm.
I think I was like pushing it aside, that feeling. And I was just like, you know, okay, I met this person, we had a great time, moving on, we just didn't talk to each other, ghost, whatever. I didn't do the ghosting, but I went along with the ghosting, whatever. But I was fine with it because I just move on. I just focus on my energy, myself. If someone doesn't want me in their life, that's fine. You know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't meant to be, maybe it will be later, it doesn't matter. I just flow.
Hmm.
But like a week later, I noticed that like I was feeling a certain way. And I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. And what I feel right now, and I still haven't processed it, what I feel right now is that that friend that I met is bringing up something deeper that I need to work on now, that I need to let go of. It has nothing to do with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Like I could talk to them, I can call them. It's not going to fix this. What's going to fix this is more time and introspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and again, it might not just be that person. Maybe it's that person and something from my childhood. I haven't fully processed it, but this is how we process.
Mm-hmm.
I'm awareness that something's up. And then Luna was talking to me and said, well, like, what's been going on lately? Like trying to help me pull out what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's nice to be able to talk to someone on that level.
Right.
Cause, she and I could do that. Anyways, the point is, I'm still processing whatever that was. Whatever it is, I'm getting closer. Maybe I'll talk about it in the next episode. And I need to clear it, right? For the fire horse here, I need to clear that out. It doesn't belong
Mm-hmm.
where it's going. It could mean so many things. I'll figure it out. But that's been my whateverness coming up right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Luna. What about you?
Well, I similar to Solera, I'm shedding. If it's okay if I say it, the feeling of abandonment's coming up, right? For us
Mm-hmm.
both, I will say that
Yeah, for us both.
through some
Okay,
situations
fair.
that we both are realizing, um, and it's good to realize, guys. There's no shame in this because without realizing, there's no growth. For me, it was something happening in pattern. So when you see a pattern, it's information showing you where there needs to be a
Pay attention.
change. And so for my patterns, there was a lot of cycles of people treating me a certain way, or me being misunderstood in a certain way, or my words and work being taken, stolen, or not given credit for. And that was a trigger
Mm-hmm.
for me. I'm not going to go into all the places that this happened, but that was a trigger for me because growing up, I'm a great listener, but then when it came time for me to speak, people would speak over me, or I would have a great project and I would write this beautiful story in elementary school. At the time, there was a lot of racism in my elementary school, and the teachers would just not believe this little black girl was such a great writer, so eloquent with her words. So that stuck with me. And even though I've healed a lot of that, sometimes I see it creeping up in other areas, like microaggressions and things like that. And so that's information telling me that I need to shed not the things that are happening, because people are still going to try you. They don't know all your triggers. It's not for them to know. But what can I change within me to not just block it, but to truly reframe and know who I am? Now, I'm not perfect, but how can I set boundaries to teach people A, how to treat me, B, how to respect me, right? This has been coming up. My business, that people respect my business, understand that I don't have a brick and mortar, but I'm a walking business and my time is valuable. So I've been making those micro changes because I realize that people, you can't change them. And so those triggers are going to keep coming up if what? If I'm not aware of the fact of how I'm feeling. So what Solera is saying is like, we don't like to feel. Her and I, she's a Pisces, I'm an Aquarius. We have our different. She feels, and I feel. We don't like to admit that we're feeling sometimes, right? That there was sadness. That what does that feel like in your body? That goes back to us not wanting to be with ourselves, right? So another step towards your healing journey and shedding these layers, the snake season of shedding layers that don't belong, is what's coming up in your body on your cellular level. What are you feeling? What's feeling imbalanced, not just food, but literally emotional. And what can we do to start shifting? So we want to let you guys know we're not perfect. We are shedding so that this season is very important, guys. You have until February 16th. Not to say that you can never shed anything else in 2026, but in this specific season, knowing is power. So we're giving you information that's power. In this shedding season, snakes have to shed to become their beautiful new patterned self in different seasons. In this season, we are being asked to shed the remnants of things that no longer belong. Because when fire horse energy comes in, what do horses do? They take off. And like I said in my last video, we don't want to take off in that season with chaos. We want to move with clarity, and we want you guys to move along and begin to move with clarity by noticing what needs to be shed. So maybe the homework that we can give people tonight before we log off is, if you're not a person that journals, that's okay. But can you just think, jot down a few words, or start sitting with yourself, putting hand to heart, and just really feeling what's tight? Your shoulders, your heart, your gut. Is it the way somebody makes you feel when they talk to you? Not who that person is, but what's behind what they're saying and what's coming up for you. You being aware of that is going to heal a part of you, because nobody knows you like you. And so our goal and hope for you is for you to get in touch with yourself and start tuning in to those little nuances.
Become
Become
aware.
aware.
Stop being distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention to
Put
how
the
you
phone
feel,
down
like
for a
Luna
minute.
said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that really is how you start,
Yeah.
awakening, if that's
Yeah.
where you want to go. First becoming aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you can start asking questions. So I'd say, like, pay attention in your daily
Yeah.
life,
Write down the
how you're
questions
feeling and
and then
all
come
those
back. You're
things.
probably going to be able to, you
Yeah.
probably be able to answer it once you write them down, because you already know the answers, but you're not really taking the time to ask yourself the questions. And then when you do that, it's like a self dialogue
Right.
that starts to happen.
Right. Or you don't want to face the answers that you know are
Right.
true, 'cause who
Because it
does?
sucks.
I remember when I used to, like, go through,
Mhm.
like, depression and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I used to say I don't want to talk to a therapist about it because
Right.
I don't want to face my shit. I'm not
No,
ready.
honestly.
But whatever, it's besides the point. I know we're getting on to an hour
Yeah.
now. There was a lot packed in this session. It flew
There's
by.
more coming,
Um,
guys. Next episode
yeah.
this month is coming.
Yes, another one's coming. We're becoming more active. I noticed we got a couple comments on YouTube.
Right.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
commenting. I can't tell you how excited we get, because to engage with all of you. So please do more of that. Let us know
Yes.
what's clicking for you, what resonates, what are you working on, what are you
Yeah.
shedding,
Let us
how are
know.
you feeling, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to say something too before we close. And I always forget this because this is like the how to get in touch with us type deal, and I kind of forget this piece sometimes. But yes, like Solera said, please engage, keep talking, guys. Ask a question, any question you want to ask us that's relevant to what we're talking about, or share an experience if you resonate with what we're saying. But you don't have to only find us here on YouTube. We have a whole nother community that we're working on building over on Instagram. And we're not chasing followers, guys. We want aligned community. So you guys, there's like about 188 of you out there, go over to Instagram and find the Unfolding podcast. I believe the actual handle is like has 777 in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You look it up right
Do we
now.
have
Look
to
at
look
me.
up our
Look at me
do we
asking
have to
her.
look
But guys, it's a newer page.
of course, that's how much we
I'm not even
advertise
ashamed.
because
Yeah.
we don't advertise. Yeah, that's
So let's
why.
give the
It's
audience our
the
handle.
unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the unfolding all together underscore podcast underscore 777. One more time. The unfolding
Mm-hmm.
underscore podcast underscore
Thank you, Solera.
777. Maybe we need to simplify that. I'll send her a copy of it next time.
No, but that's
You're very
good. Find us
welcome.
on Instagram because that's where you can engage. You can find out what's coming up next. You can get behind the scenes look at our lives because we share things in our stories on there. We want to build a aligned community. There should be 188 people on there chatting it up with us, talking about the episodes, and we want to really rock with you guys, not just here on YouTube, but there as well. We have some great things coming this year in more places that you're going to be able to hear us soon. But right now, we're mainly here on YouTube on this channel and over on Instagram. We are there and we do engage. And so you guys can post comments on Facebook. You can send us DMs if you have a question, respectfully, and engage with us here on YouTube, right? And we'll be very authentic and real with you. We look forward to hearing from you. And I want to say thank you again. Truly gratitude for those of you who have followed, subscribed, tune in, and resonate with the message we're sharing and that we're coming from our true authentic selves. I hope this episode, I know it helped some people, but I hope you guys take away some notes. The takeaway is really peace, cultivating a peace practice, and shedding layers to fully come into that awakening as you continue on your healing journey. So I hope we helped you unfold some of that, no pun intended. And those are my closing words. I'm sending gratitude, true peace. I want to share a mantra that the Buddhist monks did leave. You see it all over Facebook. If you're following the walk, you see it on Instagram. Today will be my day of peace. Say that to yourself every day when you get up because it's a choice, right? Peace is a choice. And I hope that that resonates with you guys. Let us know if you are going to go see the monks, if they're coming through, you know, North Carolina where you live or Virginia or DC, that's their final destination in February. But let us know how you feel about what's going on and how this episode landed for you. All right.
Yeah. Thank you all. Kisses always. Mwah.
Peace.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.